Daniel, Claudia, Armando.
Hey, how are you?
Very good, brother. Are you still in are you in Guadalajara or Mexico City?
Yeah, I'm in Mexico City right now.
Oh, perfect. Kaiser's there right now.
I know, yeah, I've seen him. I've seen him.
Yeah, he'll be there for like I think another to the weekend, and then he's gonna go to Playa del Carmen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then back here to Orange County in a couple weeks. I'm seeing Crystal and Cesar tomorrow.
Oh, nice. You're in Irvine?
I'm in Orange County, but I'm gonna meet Crystal and Cesar tomorrow after church. We're gonna do another thing after church in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay, nice. Nice.
Yep.
Say hi to them.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna give a couple minutes for everybody to come in. So if you guys want to do video on, video off, I would prefer video on just so I can get to know you guys. So I'm gonna do some video on. I am a culprit of my own stuff. So. Me talk with my camera on and then with my camera off. Hey, what's going on? Perfect. So let's see who's new. Zoom user. Who's Zoom user?
Everybody. I tried to put my camera on, but the phone today.
Is that you, Daniel?
Yeah, Miami.
It's you. I don't mind life. Both life.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see. Alan, good to see you, brother. Are you working today? Alan Flores? Alan might be working today, so I appreciate you being here if you're working.
Yo.
Zachary Halleck, Springboard. What's going on, bro?
Just trying to pick some stuff up around here for the rains coming here. How you doing, Mark?
Very good. Did you go to the national meetup? And I think you guys got one coming up. Was it this weekend or next weekend?
Well, I think we had one last weekend, maybe.
Okay.
The big event. Did you go to the big event?
I wasn't. I had a loss in the family, and then we had an addition to the family.
Oh, congratulations and my condolence.
Yeah. Such is life.
I know it's hard.
Yeah. I'm grateful to be here. Grateful everybody spending their time with me. So we'll get into it in a little bit. I'll give like maybe a couple of more minutes. I think one more minute should be good. Jake, what's going on? Powerhouse, brother.
Not too much, Mark. I just want to see what y'all up to. I definitely trying to get into read some good books and see I don't know, just have that good accountability. So the two books I think you posted were very influential on me, Rich Dad and Think and Grow Rich. So I like this type of book. So I'll see what else you got.
There you go. Yeah, I got a couple of books, and so let's see here. Okay. All right. So we're gonna start it up. We'll let people kind of come in, and if you guys could help me out in the chat, if people come in and they're not really sure what's going on, you can maybe catch them up to speed. So this is the very first one, and more of it is just getting to know people. And the purpose of this is I've had some challenges when it came to reading. in my adult life, right? You're a kid. I think it's up to 5th grade where we're still educated on reading. After that, it's kind of on your own, I guess, to a certain extent. Now, there's amazing books in our professional lives, both as business owners or you just want to be successful in your career. For me, marketing and sales, there's a lot of books that have resonated both in as a career and in my entrepreneurial life. Like I said, books like Rich Dad Poor Dad that was very influential in my life. That helped me with the way to think. I don't know if you could call it a gift or a curse. I knew what was out there was really hard to work minimum wage after that. So I want to open it up to access on books. One of the biggest things for books also was a lot of the really big name books. They were priced just enough for me to really think, should I be buying this? And the books that I did buy, I didn't really use. So in my invitation, I asked the question, is it self-help or is it shelf-help? And I want to show people a little look on what shelf-help looks like. Let's see, let me take off. So over there, I have a lot of books that all over here that are part of my books. I don't know if you can see them. I mean, I have a better picture next time, but the ones that are my go-tos right now, my top books right now are One More Time with Ed Milet and $100 Million Offer, right? And I don't know a lot of people who actually spend the capital to buy a book. I was not one of those a long time ago, but I definitely find the value in reading them, as well as for me, I'm a big Audible guy. I love to be able to listen to books and especially on long car rides and stuff of that nature. Now, what I'm going to be doing is, here's just share a screen for you guys. I don't want access to books to be a problem for anybody. We have access to this along. Okay. So we have about 90 books here. So some of them 48 Laws of Power, 10X, New Earth, Atomic Habits, you know, let's see, what are other big ones? Let's see, Money Masters the Game, love that, Tony Robbins. Let's see, Rich Dad Poor Dad, like I said. And let's see, Science of Getting Rich, that was a really good one, actually. Let's see. The Power of Habit, Richest Man in Babylon. 0 to 1. So instead of forcing you guys to read books, because this is not class, I would love for you guys to, you know, put in a vote to see which books you guys want to start reading. The goal of this is just to read together, to enjoy it. Part of the 75 hard, are you doing that, Jay?
No, I wasn't doing it. I mean, I try and read every day, but I wasn't doing this individual challenge. I just wanted to see what this book club was gonna be about.
Sure. It's an open forum. I mean, I think my goal here is just to make reading a little bit more fun. And I find it more fun to do it with others, right? To have ideas, maybe people have different methods of going about it. I found that if I do reading in the afternoon, it's much more enjoyable. In the morning, I do a little bit of reading, but I find it to be a nice relief in the afternoon if at that time frame. But if I read right before bed, probably won't make it far enough where I'll get anything in. It's more of like, I guess, a natural sleep remedy, right? So I don't want that for everybody. Now let's see. Does anybody have any requests? Any books that are top of mind that you guys like to read? Like I said, access to books is not going to be a problem, but you guys want to put any votes? Put it in the chat. Let's see. Living in the yacht. Nice. What is copywriting? What is copywriting? Is that one of the books? Nope, I don't have that one. Okay. Okay, Zachary's on the 48 laws of power now. Okay. Copywriting for ads, love that. 10 years ago, becoming more fama, meditations. Oh, Marcus Aurelius, nice one. Rob says go giver. Okay. And besides what I have here, if people are open to sharing, maybe a PDF of it, that would be awesome. But we also do have all these books. Let's see here. Sell or be sold really help. Okay, that's great, Zachary. You can't teach a kid to ride a bike. Love that, Jen. Right? That is an amazing book for sales. Let's see. Can't teach a kid to ride a bike. Also, I want to thank Marco Diaz. Marco Diaz is the one who actually gave me this PDF in the spirit of sharing this with others. So I want to thank Marco Diaz for doing that. And we're both in sub 2, we're both in Powerhouse, and I want to thank Powerhouse for giving this platform for me to use so that I can share this with everybody on this journey of running together. Let's see. Who not how is a good one. That is very true. I love who not how. I like running my business. My business model is a lot on who not how. 6 habits of success. Be obsessed. Pronunciation. Or average book. The 6 habits of growth. Put a wild card in for us. Okay. Well, so we do have the Michelle Obama book, which I have to be honest, I did not read. There's quite a bit of books I did not read yet. So let's put in, how about this, everybody? Let's put in a couple of books, because I'm seeing certain books being repeated here that, let me do this. Okay, let's see. I see certain books being repeated, so I'm just going to put a couple down. Let's see. 48 Laws of Power. I've seen that. 48 Laws of Power. What else do we have here? I like the Go Giver, so I'm going to put that in there. Oops. Atomic Habits. You can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar. Dang it, why do I keep doing this? Okay. Who not how. Definitely like that one. And I don't even have that PDF, so, but it wouldn't be the end of the world to try to either find it or buy it. I see you guys going ham in the chat. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves and say hello to everybody? I'm big on being seen. So Tommy Sexton, you want to come on and say hello? Or are you at work?
Hey, what's up, Mark?
What's going on, brother? Are you at work?
No, I'm heading. I'm driving right now, but I will be on my way to work in a little bit. I just wanted to see what you got cooking, give some support. Missed you.
I love it, man. I appreciate you, brother. And drive safe.
Yeah, man.
Rob, what's going on, Powerhouse, brother?
What's going on? Yeah,
Okay.
you got a lot of good books in there. I'm still on the one. I'm really shocked at myself because I'm gonna tell y'all real life. I never read a book from front to back, and at 48 years old, I'm almost finished with Skilled Success. It took me just about a month. I started off with 9 pages a day, and then after the 75 hard went to the 10. So I'm almost done with that one, but of course I would like to start on a new one.
Okay.
So, I mean, of course, a lot of people had good ideas on books that I heard from other people that they have read, said that they were good, like Atomic Habits, Go Giver. It was a whole bunch of them. Of course, I got a few real estate books I want to go through, some multi-family home books and stuff like that. So, you know, any of them would be great.
Let's see here. So I'm gonna do this. For everybody that's showing up today and spend the time, I'm gonna do this because it's the first one. I will not be doing this moving forward, or at least I'll try not to. But I want to give value for everybody spending the time. So I'm gonna put in the Dropbox link to all the books. Okay. And I just posted it in the chat. It has now you have access to all 90 books that I do, so that you guys can follow along. So cost should not be an issue. And I'd like, moving forward, it's not that I don't want to continue to give it to people, but I'd rather we come in and honestly take one book at a time and really appreciate the book. And I know it's don't want it to turn into a shelf help where you guys go, oh, I got the book, I have access, I can do it anytime, but never really dive into it. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying with that. I just don't want to be that expensive mountain bike in the garage that you have but never use. All right, so I got a couple of books in here that not only the ones in here, but also ones that we can go get. But I think we have some pretty good ones in here that we can maybe have a conversation over. If I'm missing any that are within the books that we have, maybe we just start with the books that I have first before we go outside of the Dropbox link. That's okay, guys? And then if you guys want to get a PDF for next time and add it into that link, or send it to me and I can add it in, we could do that as well. So yeah, I want time and energy to be important more than cost for anybody. All right, cool. Chapter. Okay, yeah, so Brandon said a chapter a week is the best way to go. Otherwise, we can lose people. Yeah, I'd be open. I mean, that's a good idea. And also it gives time for us to kind of appreciate what the chapter means. So, and I'm not saying this is the book, but since it's the very first one, I'm just going to open that up. So this is the 48 laws of power. Okay, you can go to Kinko's, FedEx, whatever, or even at home if you have a printer, and just print this sucker out. Okay. Or you can just read it off your computer screen or Kindle or what have you. And we can kind of go into this. And by 1:30, I'd like to just practice what we're going to be doing, which is going in here and reading together. So if you guys are driving, definitely listen in, but I would prefer you guys kind of maybe just make some space to maybe pull over and just read along with us. You know, it just helps me to do this with you guys. All right. Okay, cool. Chapter we got. Yeah, I love that. Yes, it's probably just me. I can't open the link. So Daryl, you're having trouble opening the link? Is anybody else having trouble opening the link? Sean
Yeah,
has.
mine said it didn't exist. I'll have to try again.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this. Copy. I'm gonna put this one for this specific book. So check that link and it will be specific to the 48 laws of power. I just want to test this out to see if anybody else has any issues. And thank you for everybody showing up today. We are going to be pretty much troubleshooting for the very first one, get everybody tuned in so that we don't lose anybody. And if anybody does get lost, my phone number is on there. Please reach out and we'll try to get you queued in.
I got the same error.
On for the latest one or the very first link?
Yeah, I got the latest one. I got the same error too.
Interesting. Okay. So the one I just put into the link, it doesn't work. That's good to know. Okay. So what I'm going to do is share. Anyone with this link can view. Okay. I'm going to try that. Let me know if that works.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. Thanks,
Cool
guys.
enough,
Thanks.
yeah.
Yep, that works.
All right, cool. So yeah, let me do that again with the very first link that gives you guys access to all of it. So let me see how to do that. So share. Perfect. Okay. Try that link. That should give you access to all the books. And if it doesn't work, please let me know. Okay, awesome.
Yep,
Works.
it works.
Good.
Thanks, Mark.
No problem. Anybody else having any issues, please let me know. I don't want anybody to get lost or anybody not to have access. All right. So if I don't hear any problems, I will assume that everybody's good to go. And if you do come up with any problems, just put it in the chat. I can help you, or everybody here can, help each other. I don't have it all figured out. If you're looking for a tech wizard, you came to the wrong Zoom. All right. So let's do this. Since everybody, it sounds like, and it feels like everybody does have access, with the books available in the Dropbox link, is there books that you guys like? Because I put down a couple here, right? 48 Laws. I don't see Go Giver in there, and I don't think it's in there. Let's see. Search the Go Giver. So the answer is no, I don't have that. So I don't have the Go Giver, so I have to take that out for right now. I do agree that's a great book. So I actually want to go and get that. So no Go Giver. And let's see, Atomic Habits. I do have Atomic Habits, I believe. Yep, I do have Atomic Habits. I have 48 Laws. And you can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar. I don't believe I have that. I do have some pretty interesting ones, like you are a badass at making money. You're a badass how to stop doubt, and you were born rich, but none of that. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Jen. Just appreciate you spending the time with us.
Yes, thank you so much. And the You're a Badass book, that's actually a really good book.
You are a badass at making money, and you are a badass how to stop doubt. I haven't
Yeah,
read-
those are good.
Very nice. I haven't read those myself, so I'm very excited to actually go through this entire all these books. 0 to 1 was really good as a PDF. I haven't read it as a book yet. Like I said, I got quite a big Rolodex when it comes quite a big library when it comes to my Audible. But I want to thank Marco Diaz again for giving me access to all these books. So what his intention was to share with everybody. So, oh, awesome. Thank you, Marco. Once again, look, Marco's giving us access to the link for the Go Giver. So if that is a book that you guys want to read, I am very, very into that. I think that's a great book. The Go Giver. So thank you, Marco.
Hey, I found You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike under the folder that says red.
Oh, really? Okay, thank you so much. I will add that in. There, Go Giver. Okay, under books that we've read, have read. There you go. Was that Brandon who said that? Who said that?
Yeah. That's where I found it there.
Oh, thank you. There you go. You can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar, which is great sales book. I gotta say, I really do enjoy that. All right, cool. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Brandon. So with the books that are available here, which one do you guys want to go and start with? I'll be honest, for me, out of all these books, I'm big on, I like the Atomic Habits, you know, Atomic Habits, The Go Giver. But I would say probably me, just this is myself, I like The Go Giver. I think that would give us a good foundation of just getting to know everybody and finding out what our secret powers are. So that would be my vote. Do you guys want to put in your vote on, and maybe just one book you guys want to put in? And then if we have a overall collective number of books, then we'll just go with that one. Josh, welcome, brother. I appreciate you. And Josh is actually the one who creates the flyer that you guys saw. So he's the fly guy. Yeah. All right, sounds good. So no, you're good, Josh. You didn't miss too much. Josh, do you have access to the Dropbox with all the books?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do.
Okay, and if you don't, I'm just gonna put it one more time just for anybody who just came in that I didn't notice. So there it is again. And I won't be doing this moving forward. I just want to give value for everybody showing up for the first time. But I might be giving one book at a time moving forward. That way we can just kind of keep on task, but you know, you guys have access to all of them. That's the power of showing up early. Early, you guys get grandfathered in. I learned that from Powerhouse. And sub 2. So I want to give credit with Pace Morby with sub 2 and Carlos Ruiz and Josh as well, and everybody in the Powerhouse team. All right, cool. So far it looks like the Go Giver is the go-to book, and it's probably got the most votes. So if everybody's cool with that, we can start with that book. And that's the link, I believe. I'm gonna put it in the chat if you guys can't find it in all the books. Let's see. That I believe is the link for the Go Giver. Oh, Josh, you haven't read the Go Giver? I freaking love that book. Okay, Carlos, could you put it in again? I can't seem to find. Can't teach it. Can't teach it. Yeah, the link is not clickable. You're right. Can't access. Yeah. Carlos, can you send in another link for that? I can't access it as well. When I put that link in, it doesn't come up for the Go Giver.
Hey, I don't mean to cut in, but I just want to tell you guys how I copied the links. Copy, paste in my notes, and then if you can't click it, I just take a screenshot of it, save it in photos, and I'm able to copy the text that way. Then I put it in my notes so I can find it anytime.
Interesting. So I copied that full file, then I put into my search engine, and it didn't come up. Is that what everybody else is experiencing as well? If anybody is able to figure that out, could you guys put it into the chat? Marco, you are the man. Love you, brother. And so you just put it in the chat, and it's in there. Let's see. All right. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Do you guys see the book? Go Giver? Yep. All right, great. So you guys have access to it, and we can kind of start. So our book club, and we can go as long as you guys prefer, and we're just going to take turns kind of reading it. If you want to use me as a for the if you guys don't have access to it or whatever, and you're just in here, I can just scroll down as an option. So okay, so I can start in maybe like 1 or 2 paragraphs and then just pass. You guys okay with that? Yeah. All right.
Sure.
Great. Okay, so here's some of the opening text. Not since who moved my cheese have I enjoyed a parable as much as this. You owe it to yourself to read The Go-Giver and share its message with those who matter most to you. It is beautiful. It is a beautiful book. Actually, you know what? Let me read it this way. So this way. There you go. All right. Okay, perfect. You guys still see the screen with my mouse?
Yep.
All right, good. Okay, not since who moved my cheese have I enjoyed a parable as much as this. You owe it to yourself to read The Go-Giver and share its message with those who matter to you, matter most to you. It is a beautiful book that will touch your soul and inspire your heart. David Bach, #1 New York Times bestselling author, The Automatic Millionaire. And we have The Go-Giver. There you go. A little story about a powerful business idea. Bob Berg, John David Mann. Okay, I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna go with as much as I want, and then we'll pass it on to the next person. Okay. Here. Okay. Running on 3 monitors. There you go. Perfect. Yes, in the chat, Marco said that you can download the book. It says Descargar aquí. It's in Spanish, the link. Yep, there you go. That's how I was able to do it. All right. The Go-Giver. Most people just laugh when they hear that the secret to success is giving. Then again, most people are nowhere near as successful as they wish they were. The Go-Giver gives, oh shit, let me maximize this for you guys. The Go-Giver tells the story of an ambitious young man named Joe who yearns for success. Joe is a true go-getter, though sometimes he feels as if the harder and faster he works, the further away his goals seem to be. And so one day, desperate to land a key sale at the end of a bad quarter, he seeks advice from the enigmatic Pindar, a legendary consultant referred to by his many devotees simply as the chairman. Over the next week, Pindar introduces Joe to a series of go-givers, a restaurateur, a CEO, a financial advisor, a real estate broker, and a connector, who brought them all together. Pindar's friends with Joe the 5 laws of stratospheric success and teach him how to open himself up to the power of giving. Joe learns that giving his focus from getting to giving, putting others' interests first and continually adding value to their lives ultimately leads to unexpected results. Imparted with wit and grace, The Go-Giver is a heartwarming and inspiring tale that brings new relevance to the old proverb, give and you shall receive. Pass. Who would like to read next? If you guys don't raise your hand, I'm going to choose.
I'll go ahead. You're going to scroll down for me, Mark?
Sure.
I'll just read off of your screen instead of just looking, of course I could share a screen, but I got so much stuff going on this computer. Sometimes it slows down on me.
No, I hear you, brother. No, you're good. I'll give me 1 second. I've got like too many screens up. Let's see. There you go. Okay. Go ahead. No.
All right. More praise for the go-giver. The 5 laws are beautiful in their simplicity, but is man and Berg's powerful storytelling that elevates them from the simply motivational to the truly inspirational. Scott Allen, columnist, fastcompany.com, and co-author, The Virtual Handshake. The Go Giver hits a bullseye on the subject of success in business and life. Berg and Mann clearly understands how helping others succeed will help you succeed. I highly recommend this book. Dr. Ivan Mesner, best-selling author, Masters of Success, and founder, BNI. The Go Giver is more than a great book. It will flip your thoughts on business and life upside down and provide massive value for you throughout your career. Cameron Johnson, author, You Called the Shots. Every now and then, a book comes along that says exactly what the world needs to hear at the precise moment. The Go Giver is one of these rare books. Kendra Todd, winner, The Apprentice 3, and host HDTV's My House is Worth What? The greatest leader is a servant leader. The Go Giver tells a great story about how to serve your way to success. John Addison, co-CEO, Primerica Financial Services. Deeply heartfelt and meditative. Oh, is that another page?
Yes.
Oh,
You can
okay,
choose
yeah.
to read, or you could choose to pass.
Say again?
You could choose to continue reading, or you could choose to pass.
Okay, no, I didn't want to keep going. I didn't know how many pages.
Yes, that was the end of the last page.
Okay, so you want to go to somebody else, or you want me to keep going?
Sure. If you want, let's give space for somebody else to read.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Rob. Okay, who would like to go next?
Let's go, Jake.
Oh, we got Jake for the pass. There we go.
I can read some. Are we reading the reviews still?
Yeah, we're just gonna go through it, and then we're gonna get into it. But I'll be honest, when I read books, before I would gloss over the forwards, gloss over all this, and just get right into chapter 1. But now I've learned that people have taken time, and these people that have written this, you can actually reference them and learn about them in other books. So that was taught to me by one of my mentors. And so I do want to give space for that. It's like when we watch movies, opening credits versus like at the end of the movie, some people rush out of the movie, but like with Marvel, right? You stay and watch all of it, and all of a sudden there's this extra scene. So, but if you choose to, if you don't want to read that and you want to read actual chapters, I could give that to somebody else and you can read chapters. So it's whatever you're comfortable with, Jim.
I'll read it real quick. It don't matter. I've never read the reviews before.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Deeply heartfelt and meditative, The Go Giver is filled with insights. Ori Brofman, a liberating way of looking at life. As far as I'm concerned, The Go Giver is required reading. David Walker, at the heart of The Go Giver is a philosophy, actually a way of being that will dramatically increase your business, enrich your life, and make an extraordinary mark on the world around you. Gary Keller, Berg and Mann have taken the complicated game of business and infused it with clarity and purpose. Philip Harriman, The Go Giver is brilliant, utterly captivating from cover to cover. This book will positively and profoundly inspire you. Peggy McColl. Finally, a rallying cry heralding a new era in business. The Go Giver is not just a better way of doing business, it should be the only way. Jennifer Kushel. In a Go Getter.
You can continue.
Oh, I'll keep going. In a Go Getter age, The Go Giver is a profound and refreshing look at what it really takes to achieve stratospheric success. I had tears in my eyes by the time I reached the end. Tracy Fenton. Berg and Mann tell a great story that reminds us all that giving is not a debt we owe, but instead a seed we sow. Jim Stovall. The Go Giver is a gem filled with uncommon wisdom and 5-star insights, a must-read book by anyone who wants to get more out of life. The Go Giver belongs in the hands of every one of your sales and leadership team members. I firmly believe His philosophy could transform the way the world does business. Frank McGuire. The Go-Giver taps into the secret that the mega successful already know. Personal wealth is the byproduct of making the world a better place. Paul Zane Pilser.
All right. If you'd like to end there, who would like to read next?
I could read next.
Awesome. Thank you, Marco.
Give me 1 second. About the authors, Bob Berg is a highly sought after speaker who teaches the principles at the core of the Go-Giver to audiences worldwide. A former top sales professional, he is also the author of Endless Referrals. He lives in Florida. John David Mann has been writing about business, leadership, and the laws of success for more than 20 years. He is the author of the Zen of MLM and a co-author of You Call the Shots and A Deadly Misunderstanding. He lives in Massachusetts. Visit www.thegogiver.com for downloads and other goodies. A little story about our powerful business idea.
I'm just gonna gloss over this a little bit, if you don't mind, so we can get some good reading in. So the table content, chapter 1, the go-getter, chapter 2, the secret, chapter 3, the law of value, chapter 4, the condition, chapter 5, law of compensation, number 6, or chapter 6, serving coffee, chapter 7, Rachel, chapter 8, the law of influence, chapter 9, Susan, chapter 10, the law of authenticity, chapter 11, Gus, chapter 12, the law of receptivity, chapter 13, full circle, chapter 14, the go-giver, the 5 laws of stratospheric success acknowledgements, the go-giver, chapter 1. Who would like to start chapter 1?
I'll start chapter 1.
Oh, we got 2 who came here first. I'm just kidding. Who would like to go?
I'll go. I can go first and hand it off to, I'm not sure who that was after me.
I believe that was Elaine. Elaine, are you still driving?
I had stopped for a little bit, but it's okay. I can go after him.
Okay, sounds good. Daryl, go first, and that gives time for Elaine to find a safe space to park.
All right, cool, no problem. If there was anyone at the Clawson Hill Trust Corporation who was a go-getter, it was Joe. He worked hard, worked fast, and was headed for the top. At least that was his plan. Joe was an ambitious young man aiming for the stars. Still, sometimes it felt as if the harder and faster he worked, the further away his goals appeared. For such a dedicated go-getter, it seemed like he was doing a lot of going, but not a lot of getting. Work being as busy as it was, though, Joe didn't have much time to think about that, especially on a day like today, a Friday, with only a week left in the quarter and a critical deadline to meet, a deadline he couldn't afford not to meet. Today, in the waning hours of the afternoon, Joe decided it was time to call in a favor, so he placed a phone call, but the conversation wasn't going well. I'll pass it off to Elaine.
You want to pass it off? Okay. Elaine, would you like to go next?
Sure. Give me 2 seconds.
No worries.
Is that, are you at the top of this page right now?
Yes, we are.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay. Carl, tell me you're not telling me this. Joe took a breath to keep the desperation out of his voice. Neil Hansen? Who the heck is Neil Hansen? Well, I don't care what he's offering. We can meet those specs. Wait, come on, Carl, you owe me one. You know you do. Hey, who saved your bacon on the Hodges account? Carl, hang on. Carl. Joe clicked.
Oh, Elaine? You got muted by accident, I think, Elaine.
It was the click.
Yeah, I think her microphone, there you go. We lost you right after Carl
Oh,
hang-
sorry.
No, you're okay.
I had a
Um,
call coming in. I didn't even see that.
No worries.
Joe clicked off the talk button on his cordless phone and made himself calmly set down the instrument. He took a deep breath. Joe was desperately trying to land the large account, an account he felt he richly deserved, one he needed if he wanted to make his third quarter quota. Joe had just missed his quota in the first quarter and again in the second. 2 strikes. Joe didn't even want to think about a third. Joe, you okay? A voice asked. Joe looked up into the concerned face of his coworker, Melanie Matthews. Melanie was a well-meaning, genuinely nice person, which was exactly why Joe doubted she would survive long in a competitive environment like the 7th floor where they both worked. You want me to keep on going?
Sure. Yeah. So how about a maximum of 2 pages for everybody who wants to do more than 1 page of reading? That way we can give some space. But I don't. If you guys are in a flow, I don't want to stop you. Fair enough.
I didn't hear the first part. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. I was gonna say what I was saying was read a page, and if you feel like you're in a flow, read up to 2. That way, give space for other people to read as well. But if you're in a good flow, you're a beautiful reader. So if you want to read another page, I'm open to that.
Oh, okay, sure. I'll read another page. Yeah, he didn't need to explain. Everyone on the floor who knew who Carl Kellerman was. He was a corporate broker looking for the right firm to handle an account Joe had nicknamed the Big Kahuna, or BK for short. According to Carl, the boss at Big Kahuna didn't think Joe's firm had the clout and leverage to put the deal together. Now some character he'd never heard of had underbid and outperformed him. Carl claimed there was nothing he could do about it. I just don't get it, Joe said. I'm so sorry, Joe, said Melanie. Hey, sometimes you eat the bear. He flashed a confident grin, but all he could think of was what Carl had said. As Melanie walked back to her desk, Joe sat lost in thought, clout and leverage. Moments later, he leaped up and walked over to Melanie's desk. Hey, Mel? She looked up. Do you remember talking with Gus the other day? Something about a big wheel consultant giving a talk somewhere next month? You called him the captain or something? Melanie smiled. Pindar, the chairman.
Beautiful. Thank you, Elaine.
Yeah, no problem.
Who would like to go next? I want to give space for Josh to read because I know the man is busy, but I definitely want to hear Josh read a little bit.
I can read.
Awesome.
Where was that we left off? I was trying to download, but
No worries. So right here, we're still on we're right at Joe.
okay. Joe snapped his fingers. That's it. That's the guy. What's his last name? Melanie frowned. I don't think so, she shrugged. No, I don't think I've ever heard it mentioned. Everyone calls him the chairman or just Pindar. Why? You just want to hear the talk? Yeah, maybe, but Joe was not interested in some lecture happening a month away. He was interested in only one thing, and that one thing needed to happen by the following Friday, when the third quarter came to an end. I was thinking, this guy is a real heavy hitter, right? Charges huge consulting fees, works only for the biggest and best firms, major clout. I know we could handle the BK account, but I'm going to need some big guns to win the deal back. I need leverage. Any idea on how I can get a line to this chairman guy's office? Melanie looked at Joe as if he were proposing to wrestle a grizzly bear. You're just going to call him up? Joe shrugged. Sure, why not? Melanie shook her head. I have no idea how to contact him. Why don't you ask for Gus? As Joe headed back to his desk, he wondered how Gus had managed to survive his long at the Classen Hill Trust. He never saw him do any actual work, yet Gus had an enclosed office while Joe, Melanie, and a dozen others shared the open space of the 7th floor. Some said Gus had gotten his office because of seniority. Others said he had earned it on merit. According to office rumors, it had been years since Gus had sold a single account, and management kept him on purely out of loyalty. There were also whispers about Gus that went to the other extreme, that he had been super successful in his younger days and now an independently wealthy eccentric who stashed his millions away in mattresses while living a pensioner's lifestyle. Joe didn't believe the rumors. He was pretty sure Gus brought on some accounts, but it was hard to picture him as a sales superstar. Gus dressed like a high school English teacher and reminded Joe of a retired country doctor, more than a retired country doctor than an active businessman. With his relaxed, easy manner, his long rambling phone conversations with potential clients, conversations that seemed to touch on everything but business, and his erratic, extended vacations, Gus seemed like a relic of times past, hardly a go-getter.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josh.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Who would like to go in it? Who would like to go next? Since I have the I have a hand raised. Armando?
Don't be
Yeah,
scared, guys. I'm sweating.
Yeah, let's go. Joe stopped at Gus's open door and knocked softly. Come on in, Joe. Came the reply. So you want to call right now and try to get in to see the man himself? Gus thumbed carefully through his large Rolodex, found the dog-eared card he was searching for and copied the phone number onto a small slip of paper, which he then handed to Joe. He watched it as Joe took the paper and punched in the number and his cordless phone. On a Friday afternoon, Joe grinned. Yep, I'm going to do exactly that. Gus nodded thoughtfully on one thing I have to say about you, Joe. You've got ambition, and I admire that. Gus absent. Yeah, thank you. Fingered meerschaum pipe as he thought. If there's anyone on this floor who's a go-getter, it's you. Joe was touched. Thanks, Gus. He headed back to his desk. From behind him, Gus called out, "Don't thank me yet." After a single ring, Joe was greeted by a cheerful voice belonging to a woman who identified herself as Brenda. He introduced himself, told her he needed to see the chairman, and then he righted himself to Perry for Stonewall. Instead, she shocked him by saying, "Of course, he can meet you. He can meet with you. Can you come by tomorrow morning?" I'll pass it on.
Great job. Thank you, Armando.
Thank you.
Who would like to go next?
I'll read it again if nobody wants to.
Well, you are definitely good to go. I'm willing to give space for one person who wants to go, and then you have next. I just want to give space for people to get a chance in here. Who wants to go next? If not, I am definitely passing to my big man, Jake.
I'll go.
Damon?
Yeah.
Awesome. Damon, you're good to go, and Jake, you're up next.
Sorry, Jake.
You're good.
Tomorrow he stayed on a Saturday. Yes, if that works for you. Is 8 o'clock too early? Joe was stunned. Don't you need to check with him first? Oh no, came her unruffled reply. Tomorrow morning will be fine. There was a brief silence. Joe wondered if she had him confused with someone else. Someone this Pindar character actually knew. Ma'am, he finally managed to say. You know this is my first time meeting with him, right? Of course, she replied cheerfully. You've heard about his trade secret and you want to learn about it. Well, yes, that's it, more or less, he replied. Trade secret? The man was willing to share his trade secret? He could hardly believe his good fortune. He'll meet with you one time, continued Brenda. After that, if you agree to his conditions, he'll want to set up additional appointments to actually show you the secret. Conditions? Joe was crestfallen. He was sure these conditions would involve a stiff consulting fee or retainer he couldn't afford. And even if he could, it might require the kind of high-level credentials Joe certainly didn't have. Was it even worth it to go on? Or should he cut his losses and find a graceful way back out now? Of course, he replied. Oh, and what are his conditions again? You'll have to hear that directly from the old man, she said with a giggle. Joe took down the address she gave him, mumbled his thanks, and clicked off the phone. In less than 24 hours, he was going to meet with, what has she called him? The old man. And why has she giggled when she said that?
Awesome. So Jake, we're going to touch into another chapter today. If you guys are open to it, I think we got a pretty good flow. I'm comfortable with going to another chapter. Yeah? All right. Jake, start us on chapter 2, please.
Okay. Then the secret. The next morning, Joe arrived at the address Brenda had given him and pulled up into the huge circular drive. He couldn't help being impressed as he parked and looked up at the beautiful stone mansion that stretched up a good 4 stories in front of him. He gave a low whistle. This was someplace. The man had a clout, all right. Joe had done all his homework the night before. An hour on the internet had told him some pretty remarkable things about the person he was about to meet. The man known as the chairman has had a very successful career with a wide range of enterprises. Now mostly retired from his own companies, he devoted most of his time to teaching and mentoring others. He was in great demand as a consultant to Fortune 500 CEOs and as a keynote speaker at top shelf corporate events. He had become something of a legend. One article had dubbed him the business world's best kept secret. Talk about clout, thought Joe. Leverage big time, Joe welcomed. A slender man with neatly combed, graying black hair, a pale blue shirt, light gray jacket, and pressed. Light gray slacks stood outside the great oak door. Early 60s, Joe guessed, maybe even late 50s. The man's age was one detail the internet search had not yet yielded. His precise net worth was another, but by all accounts, it was stratospheric. The castle that stood before Joe confirmed the impression, as did the man's stately, elegant presence. From his beaming expression, it was clear that his welcome was genuine and not just a figure of speech. "Good morning, sir," said Joe. "Thank you for taking the time to see me." "You're welcome, and thank you for exactly the same reason." Pender smiled broadly over his firm handshake. Joe returned a somewhat bewildered smile of his own and wondered, why is he thanking me? "Let's head over to the terrace for a cup of Rachel's famous coffee," said Joe's host as he ushered him onto a small slate path that led outside the side of the mansion. "Surprised to be here?" "Actually, yes," Joe admitted. "I'm just wondering how many business legends would open their homes to a perfect stranger on Saturday morning." Pender nodded as they walked along the path. "Actually, successful people do this all the time. Typically, the more successful they are, the more willing they are to share the secrets with others."
Awesome. Thank you, Jake.
Oh, yeah.
Could we get another reader?
Sure, I'll go. We're on, I'm sorry. Can you highlight exactly where you are?
Yes, not a problem. We are right here. Joe nodded.
Okay, great. Joe nodded, trying his best to believe that this could possibly be true. Pender glanced at him, then smiled again. "Appearances can be deceiving, Joe. In fact, they nearly always are." They walked for a moment before Pender continued. "I was sharing a stage once with Larry King, you know, the radio and television interviewer." Joe nodded. "And since let's see here, and since he's interviewed so many famous, successful, and powerful people, I thought I'd check my own observations against his." Larry, I asked. "Are your guests as genuinely nice as they seem? Even the real superstars?" He fixed me with a gaze and said, "Tell you what, the interesting thing is, the bigger they are, the nicer they are." Something about Penderman's warm, raspy voice had put Joe curiously at ease from his first moment he heard it. Now he identified something. It was a storyteller voice. Pender continued. "Well," Larry thought for a moment about what he said, and then he said more. I believe that a person can reach a certain level of success without being particularly special, but to get really, really big to reach the kind of stratospheric success we're talking about, people need to have something on the inside, something that's genuine. You want to keep going?
Sure. I mean, let's see. I think that was
I didn't even.
page 1. So you get to go another page if you like.
Sure, okay. Where are we at here? Okay, so as they arrived at the terrace table, Joe glanced around and just managed not to gasp out loud. Beyond the city stretching below them to the west lay a range of long rolling mountains, half shrouded in cottony clouds. The view took Joe's breath away. They took their seats and the young woman Pinder had called Rachel appeared with a pot of her famous coffee. As she poured cups for both of them, Joe thought, Susan won't believe it when I tell her about this place. He had told his wife only that he was going to meet with a potential client. He smiled as he pictured that expression that would light up her face when she heard about his adventure. Wow, said Joe. Larry King, huh? By the way, this coffee is spectacular. Is Rachel's coffee really famous? Is it in this home? Pinder said with a smile. I'm not a betting man, but if I were, you know what I'd bet? Joe shook his head. I bet that one day it will be famous worldwide. Rachel is very special. Been with us for about a year now, but I expect she'll be leaving us before long. I've been encouraging her to open up a chain of coffee houses. Her coffee is too good not to share with this world.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jen.
Sure.
Who would like to go next? What was that? I heard somebody else say something. Let's see. I'm going to start pulling people up. I know Dan's on the water. So
I'll always read again too, if needed.
okay, I appreciate that, Josh. Naomi, I see you on here. Would love to hear you if you'd like to join us.
I was trying to hide, Mark. Okay, I'm here.
No, Naomi's amazing. She's part of my Gator tribe, but she's also an amazing person. So I'd love to introduce her to everybody. Naomi, would you like to go with?
Okay, I'll give it a try, but I wasn't expecting to read. I can see what you mean. Joe leaned in and adopted his best confidential, just as guys talking manner. If you could reproduce this on an industrial scale, you two could make a killing. He sat back in his chair and took another sip. Pindar set his cup down and looked at Joe thoughtfully. Actually, Joe, in the brief time we have this morning, that's where I want to begin. You and I are coming from two different directions when it comes to wealth creation. If we're going to take this walk together, we need to start by facing the same direction. If you notice, what I said was share her coffee. What you said was make a killing. Do you see the difference? Joe wasn't sure if he did or not, but he cleared his throat and said, yes, I think so. Pindar smiled. Please don't misunderstand me. There's nothing wrong with making money, lots of it, in fact. It's just not a goal that will make you successful. Reading the bewilderment on Joe's face, he nodded and put his hand up to signal that he would explain. You want to understand success, yes? Joe nodded. All right, I'm going to share my trade secret with you now. Okay, Pindar leaned forward a bit. I thought it was done.
Oh, no, you're okay. You choose to continue or pass. It's really up to you.
I'll pass, please.
Not a problem. Thank you for reading, Naomi. And it looks like Elaine just left. Okay. Let's see here. Zachary hasn't read, and Claudia. Zachary, Claudia, Alan. And you know what? John,
driving here, so sorry.
Are you driving? Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Okay.
but I'm listening to you guys. Bye.
Okay. Claudia, yeah, please, if you can pull over at some point to be safe and join us, that would be awesome. But Zachary, would you like to go next?
Yeah, give it a try. I'm on my phone out here in the backyard trying to
Awesome.
put my camper away for the season.
No worries, brother. So
Right
you're
there.
Yep.
Pender leaned forward a bit and softly spoke one word, giving. Joe waited for more, but apparently that was it. I beg your pardon? Pender smiled, giving it. Joe repeated Joe. Pender nodded. That's the secret of your success? Your trade secret, giving? Indeed, said Pender. Ah, said Joe. Well, that's that. That's too simple, even if it were true, which it can't possibly be. Asked Pender. Is that what you think? You're thinking? Something like that. Joe admitted sheepishly. Pender nodded. Most people have that reaction. In fact, most people just laugh when they hear that the secret to success is giving. He paused. Then again, most people are nowhere near successful as they wish they were. Joe certainly couldn't argue that point. You see, Pender continued, the majority of people operated with a mindset that says to the fireplace, first give me some heat, then I'll throw you some logs. Or say to the bank, give me interest on my money, then I'll make a deposit. And of course, it just doesn't work that way. Joe frowned, trying to per se the logics of Pender's example. You see, you can't go in two directions at once. Trying to be successful with making money as your goal is like to travel a super highway at 70 miles an hour with your eyes glued to the rearview mirror. He looked another thoughtful sip. He took another thoughtful sip and waited for Joe to process these things, his thoughts. Joe felt as if his brain were even 70 on the highway in reverse. Okay, he began slowly. So if you're saying successful people, they're focused on what they're giving, sharing, whatever, he saw Ponder nod. And that's what creates their success? Exactly, cried Pender. Now you're facing the same direction, but wouldn't it, wouldn't an awful lot of people take advantage of you? Excellent question. Pender sipped his cup down and leaned forward. Most of us have grown up seeing the world as a place of limitation rather than as a place of existable treasures, a world of competition rather than one of co-creation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jacker. Next, we have Daniel, if he's able to read with us, but I know he's on the boat. And if not, I'd like to welcome everybody, my really dear friend, John Arbolino. John, you there?
Hey, how's it going?
So, short little pause. 4 years ago, I had I guess you could call it a midlife crisis moment. Some buy motorcycles. I decided to become a sushi chef. Dump everything in the van, leave where I was living in San Francisco, and come down to Southern California. And when I came down to Southern California, I had no place to live. I didn't have any plans. I just knew I wanted to be a sushi chef in Torrance, California. Well, when that happened, I called a friend of mine by the name of John Arbolino, and he's here. Why is this important to what we're doing? Well, when I stayed with him I stayed in his second bedroom, which was where he put his books. This man is what people hear about when they talk about people who read 70 to 100 books. He literally reads that many books a year. Very avid. I think if a house burned down, definitely in the top 3 things he would bring with him, besides his beautiful wife, his dog, would be his books. Oh shoot, he just left. Oh, there he goes. Okay. You see in the background there, you see those books? That's not just for aesthetics. This man really does read all these books. And at that time, I think the book that I read for the last 15 years was I think we have all of those here. It was like a Playboy magazine. So I stayed in John's study room, and I could not shake the fact that I did not read enough. And sleeping with all those books, it really helped me to want to read more. And I started with 1 book, and I think I read that first year 1 book for the entire year. That was my reading capability. It's changed a lot, and I want to welcome my dear friend John Alberlino and have him read next. So yeah.
Nice to meet everyone. All right, I'll start at the top of the page. Oh, sure, we all act polite on the surface, but let's face it, it's really every man for himself. That about sum it up? Joe admitted that it did about sum it up indeed. That's certainly what he believed anyway. Well, said Pindar, it's simply not true. He noted Joe's skeptical look and continued. Have you ever heard people say you can't always get what you want? Joe grinned. You mean the Rolling Stones? Pindar smiled. Actually, I imagine people were saying that well before Mick Jagger's time. But yes, that's the general idea. You're not going to tell me that's not true, are you? That we actually do get what we want. No, said Pindar. That one is true. In life, you often don't get what you want. But, and he leaned forward again and his voice grew softer with emphasis. Here's what you do get. You get what you expect. Joe frowned again, trying to mentally test out the truth of this last thought. Pindar leaned back, sipped his coffee, watching Joe. After a moment's silence, he continued. Or put it another way, what you focus on is what you get. You've heard the expression, go looking for trouble, and that's what you'll find? Joe nodded. It's true, and not only about trouble, it's true about everything. Go looking for conflict, you'll find it. Go looking for people to take advantage of you, and they generally will. See the world as a dog-eat-dog place, and you'll always find a bigger dog looking at you as if you're his next meal. It's a good statement. Go looking for the best in people, and you'll be amazed at how much talent, ingenuity, empathy, and goodwill you'll find. Ultimately, the world treats you more or less the way you expect to be treated. Pindar paused for a moment to let Joe absorb that thought, then added one more. In fact, Joe, you'd be amazed at just how much you have to do with what happens to you. Joe drew a breath, so he spoke this next thought slowly, thinking it through out loud. You're saying people don't take advantage of you because you don't expect them to? That because you don't put any focus on selfishness and greed, even when it's all around you, it doesn't have much impact on you? Then he had a flash of inspiration. Like a healthy immune system with disease, it's all around you, but you don't catch it. Pindar's eyes sparkled. Wonderful. That's an exquisite way of putting it. He kept talking as he scribbled in a little notebook he had produced from inside his jacket. I have to remember that. You mind if I use that bit of brilliance? No, go ahead, Joe gestured. Take my brilliance, I'm full of it. He paused and added, at least that's what my wife always says. Should I keep going to the bottom mark or?
It's up to you. Yeah. If you have the flow, I'll let you finish to the end of the page and then we can go next person.
Awesome. Pindar burst out laughing as he slipped his little notebook back into the unseen pocket. He put both hands on his knees and looked directly at the younger man. Joe, I'd like to do something with you. I'd like to show you what I call my 5 laws of stratospheric success. If you can make a little time, say every day for a week. Seriously? Joe nearly stuttered. For a week? I don't know how much time I can take off. Pindar waved his hand vaguely as if to say, time means nothing. Not a problem. All we'll need is 1 hour a day, your lunch hour. You do take time for lunch every day? Joe nodded, dumbfounded. The man was going to meet with him every day for a week and hand over the details of his most valuable trade secret. End page.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Likewise, thank you.
What's that?
Thank you as well for the nice introduction and great to meet everyone.
Yeah.
All right, John, what's going on? And thanks for supporting Mark, your good friend. He's a good guy that I've known on this short little period of time. I just got a quick question so nobody can fall off of what we're reading. What out of all the books that you had read, what book do you like is your favorite book that you keep going back to and you say, I got to read this again?
It's a tough one. It tends to change each time. I've gifted the book I've gifted the most, believe it or not, you'll actually laugh, is a children's book called The Giving Tree, which somewhat touches on the theme of this book, which is really just about giving back to your friends, to your family, to nature. But my favorite book probably would be Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. It's the handbook to Stoicism, and I mean, I would recommend reading it once a year.
100%.
That's my answer.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, it was actually that book that helped me get through a lot of different challenges. It helps to understand when we think about what we need to do to get things or do things to try to aspire for something. And then when I read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, a child born into the knowledge and the fact that he will grow to be the ruler of his known world, right? And being raised by Stoics really helped him to understand the mentality of the people around him. As he woke up, understanding that people around him are trying to get or be in positions that he was born into, and him still humble enough to understand the limitations of the mindsets of the people around him. That really helped me to frame different things that happen in my life. And I look towards growth in understanding, a lot more growth than the growth of monetary gains. So yeah, so appreciate that. Thank you for that. Great question, Rob. And once again, brother, appreciate you being here and supporting me on this. Who would have thought? The guy who barely read a book. I think one book, what was that? Over 15, 20 years, if you even consider a book. And now leading a book club or hosting a book club. So I'm very, very, very grateful. And I have built out that relationship with books because of you. So I appreciate you. So
Likewise, brother.
All right.
Likewise.
So, let's see. Daniel's going to be on the bowl. We have Claudia. We haven't heard from. Oh yeah, Claudia was driving. Are you still driving, Claudia? Yeah, I'm just going to assume you are. So be safe. I'd rather you be safe. Alan, are you at work? Will you be able to join us today? If not, it's totally okay. I'm going to do some reading, and then whoever can join next, maybe put a 1 in the chat so I can so I know who to call up next. The Go-Giver. First, though Pindar continued, first you'll need to agree to my conditions. Joe's heart sank. The conditions? that he had forgotten all about that. It was only after he agreed to Pindar's conditions, Brenda had said that they would set up further meetings. Joe gulped. I really don't have the means. Pindar held up his hands. Please don't worry, it's nothing like that. So Joe began, do I need to sign an NDA or? This brought a big booming laugh from Pindar. No non-disclosure agreements or if anything, the opposite. I call these 5 laws my trade secret, not because I don't want people to find them, but for exactly the opposite reason. I call them my trade secrets to the people I will find them, so they'll seek them. So they'll place the proper value on them because it's really a term of honor. Excuse me? Joe was lost. Pindar smiled. The world itself, secret. Originally, it meant something treasured, something sifted, weighed, and set apart for its special value. Actually, if I had my way, everyone would know these 5 laws. In fact, he added, that's exactly why I put these conditions in place. Actually, it's just one condition. Are you ready? Joe nodded. I need you to agree that you will test every law I show you by actually trying it out. Not by thinking about it, not by talking about it, but by applying it in your life. Joe started to give his accent, but Pindar stopped him and continued. And that's not all. You must apply each law right away, the same way you first learn it. Joe looked at Pindar to see if he was kidding. Seriously? Before I go to sleep that night, or I'll turn into a pumpkin? Pindar's face relaxed into a grin. No, you have a point. You won't turn into a pumpkin. But if you don't abide by my condition, our meetings will come to an end. But Joe stammered, not to sound impertinent, how would you know? Another excellent question. How would I know? Pindar nodded thoughtfully. I wouldn't, but you would. It's the honor system. If you don't find a way to apply each law I show you the very same day you learn it, I'll trust that the next morning you'll call Brenda to cancel the rest of our appointments. Alan's only able to listen. Okay, so who would like to go next?
I'll jump in there. Was that Joe nodded?
Yep.
Joe nodded slowly. I think I understand. You want to make sure I'm not wasting your time. Fair enough. Pindar smiled. Joe, no offense, but you don't have that power. Joe looked confused. I mean, the power to waste my time? Only I can do that. And truthfully, it's a vice I gave up a long time ago. The reason for my condition is that I don't want to see you wasting your time. Joe looked down and saw Pindar's outstretched hand. He took it and gave it a fair shake. He felt a thrill go through him as he had just embarked on an adventure worthy of an Indiana Jones and mirrored the chairman's broad smile with one of his own. You've got a deal.
Awesome. Thank you everybody for reading today. We went 2 chapters versus 1. Great way to start off, getting to know people. We're gonna probably move the time around. And today, since we put it out there, I wanted to stick with the time, but next week, we're probably gonna do it at a different time, maybe earlier, maybe 11 to 1. Or 11 to 12, mainly because I'm actually in 2 Zooms right now, just for, I want to be very transparent about that. But next one, I want to be completely 100% focused on here, and hopefully I did a good job. And if not, let me know, definitely have room to improve. But I do appreciate everybody spending time to come in here and read with me. And hopefully everybody got some value here. and you guys choose to come back.
That was awesome, Mark. Thank you so much. Thank you guys, everybody, for participating, reading, and showing up. I never
Yep,
thought I'd
thank
get so
you.
excited about being in a book club.
Yeah, I'm actually involved in different book clubs, Bible study and stuff like that, of that nature. But having this space to come here comfortably and grow in my ability to both read out loud, I find that there is still room for improvement. I'm in sales, like many of us, we run businesses, have careers, have lives. I just want to kind of give this space for us to be able to just come in and just learn with others who choose to be lifelong learners, right? It's a safe space. I don't expect anybody to come in here to be perfect. I would prefer people come in here that want to just improve maybe 1% a day, a week, a month, a year. I started very slowly. John is a very educated, well-read gentleman. He never forced me to read. He just showed in his actions his love for reading, which gave me an open door to walk through and have my journey with books. And now I've learned first through Audible, but now I'm finding more and more the love in books. So I appreciate everybody coming here and joining me in improving my my love and my journey with books and reading. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, Jen.
Good stuff, Mark.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
No worries. Yeah, so I'm excited for us to do this again next week and improve. This was kind of a last minute thing, and I'm super surprised that many people showed up. Honestly, I thought maybe one person would show up, and I'm okay with that. But the more the merrier, and I think that us starting with the Go Giver is an amazing book to start this with. So yeah, it all worked out, even with technical difficulties and all the things. And Marco just left, but Marco Diaz is actually one of my business partners for one of my LLCs. So we do different things when it comes to finance. Josh here giving me, and with Carlos and Powerhouse, giving this Zoom and this space and supporting this has been awesome. I appreciate you guys and everybody else in Powerhouse, Jake, Rob, who else is in here? Daniel, one of the newer members, but been family for a while. Naomi, Gator Tribe, now new Powerhouse member. Armando, really good friends. Armando, John also knows Cesar as well, actually from the same area. Armando is, I want to make sure I'm clear, is a cousin of Cesar, right?
Yeah, it's my half brother.
Half brother, that's right. So yes, and yes, John has been by the warehouse many a times and partied and know the guys. So,
Mark, go ahead and go over exactly everything that you got going on. I mean, what's the businesses? I know you mentioned Gator. What else you got?
So what I've been doing is, and it's not ready yet, is we have a small group of people that are in the conversation of OPM, how to obtain capital through credit, through lenders, through private money lending, hard money lending, conventional routes, transactional lending, DSCR loans. As investors, it's always about how do we get money from different sources, how to stabilize our finances. What I mean by that is how you're stabilize your portfolio, and then how to deploy once you have a stable portfolio and you have access capital, how to deploy that into, for me, and for what my main focus is real estate. So brief outline of what it is that I do is I either market to obtain property or market to obtain financing, and I deploy that to gain more properties, either that or notes. So I either acquire properties or acquire notes. California, obtaining notes and wraps is a little bit more desirable than being a landlord. It's not very strong a pro landlord state, so notes and wraps are a better way of going about it. It's like, for people who don't know, it's like Wells Fargo owning the note on a car, but instead of every time you need to change your wheel or change the oil, Wells Fargo or Chase doesn't come and help you do that. You own the title, but they own the note. But yes, Rob, about that being in Powerhouse. So yeah, Gator and all the other things. It's a lot of things are coming down the pipeline, so I'm really excited. So that's why I thought about doing this as a space for us to just kind of come in and grow more. The more you read, the more you have the potential to apply. So in the very first 2 chapters of, 1 second, in The Go-Giver, chapter 1 is, and I would prefer if you guys wondering what the next steps would be go back and reread The Go-Getter, okay? And since we went 2 chapters this week, reread The Secret. Even though we read it together in a group, find space by yourself to really dive into the book and get more accustomed to what that chapter means or what it's trying to convey. I used to read used to read so that I can get done with reading. But this isn't schoolwork. If it doesn't stick, if questions come around, it's okay, convey that, right? Like what ideas aren't really sinking in, what questions come out. That's good. I used to think that was bad because, oh my God, I don't completely understand the first time I read it. That's the point, is to not understand, but you can get to understand it. It's like watching a movie and rereading it. And John, I'm going to pull you up again. What book do you enjoy rereading every year?
I think one of them is Meditations. The other one is a really, really short book called As a Man Thinketh. And I'll send the link to it. It's a very aspirational book. It's really like a self-motivating book that kind of drives into the subject immediately. You can read it in a matter of hours. It's like this thin. So I'd say those 2.
What about each book resonates with you the most that inspires you to rediscover that every year?
The best books, you're learning something new each time you read it, and you're taking a new approach towards the words that are on the page. So every time you read a new book, you're only capturing so much of the information and the spirit of what the author's trying to write. Whereas like the timeless books, right? And it could be whatever, book you enjoy, you're going to read it, but get a new kernel of something that you learn from it. Almost like your favorite films or your favorite albums, right? Because you yourself evolve too, not just what you gain from the book. Hope that answers the question.
No, 100%. I think for me, you referenced something that was interesting. I rewatch movies that I watched when I was a kid, and it's different because of my experience. I look at it differently because I'm not the same person, right? The movie hasn't necessarily changed, but I have, and my perspective of it, right? So by rereading, as a group, we read the 2 chapters together. But moving forward, reading 1 chapter and giving a whole week to really discover that, I think that's some good homework for everybody, and a good opportunity to see what thoughts come up? You know, what ideas is it challenge you on, right? Do you believe in it, and why not, right? And what thoughts do you formulate that could potentially be because you just read that? Is it an idea that's newly introduced to you, or is it an idea that's reintroduced to you? So, but on that note, thank you for everybody that's spending time to come here today. If anybody does not have access, please let me know before I exit this Zoom. But for homework, read chapter 3. Actually, no, reread chapter 1 and 2 of The Goal Giver. And then we can have a discussion about it next week. You know, maybe spend like half an hour or maybe even an hour on, you know, what came up. And if we have a lot to say, then we'll go deeper into it. And if not, we can go into chapter 3. Fair enough for everybody?
Heck yeah. Thank you, Mark.
No problem.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
I'm not going to leave yet because let's see who did not get the book. Oh, Damon, you did not get a copy of the book. Okay, let me make sure you get that before you leave.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. Does anybody else? Claudia, I know you're driving, so I don't want you to miss out. Okay, I'm gonna post it on here. And let me know, Damon, if you're able to access that. And just go into the Descargar PDF and open that and download it. It is in Spanish, but the book is in English.
Cool. Thank you very much, man. I got it.
Awesome. All right.
Hey, I got a question regarding those 2 books that John recommended, As a Man Thinketh, and what was the other one?
Oh, it's Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and I'm gonna post that's the one right there. And you know, we can maybe, you know, work together to see if we can find the PDF for it, but I think it's an amazing book. So
Yeah, that's good. You know, what I'm listening to every night, it's The Strangest Secret by Earl, I can't pronounce his last name, Nightingale. It's like 30 minutes on YouTube. It's a book, but you have the audiobook on YouTube. But I'm gonna do the same with these 2, with As a Man Thinketh, because I heard about this book before, and the Marcus Aurelius as well.
yep. I love that book. Well, any book written by a Mark, you know, I'm big into it. It's just, I don't know why, for me, Marks with a K, Marks with a C, I look into it. You know, Salesforce was created by a Mark. Facebook, you know, that Mark, right? A lot of famous Marks in history. So even in the Bible, the Gospel of Mark. So I dive into those, trying to just discover different Marks throughout history and see what type of impact they had on this world. And yeah, it's just a great way of, you know, just discovering other people who lived before, live now, and the value that they bring to others. So, all right. On that note, it was a pleasure doing this for the first time, even with all the little twists and turns, and all the people who stepped up to provide value. Super appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, please let us know, and me and Josh will work together next on when we can set up a more steady and set time every single week to do this. That way it won't fluctuate. But yeah, there is another event that I'm actually a part of, and I'm currently on there. So I don't want there to be too overlap. Today wasn't that big of an issue, but I'd like to make sure that I'm 100% focused next time. Hopefully you guys didn't notice it too much. But I do have to jump and get into to some work. Josh, thank you for putting up that flyer, man. Great work, brother. Awesome. Armando.
Thank you for doing this. I'm stoked on it.
Yeah, it's been fun, man. It turned out pretty well. I loved everybody that showed up and read together.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good for everybody. I'm excited.
Yeah, me as well. I mean, getting through 10 pages is like, okay, I have to do it, but doing this with everybody and just reading together, that's cool. You know,
Yeah.
when you because you want to versus you have to, it's just a completely different experience. So, yeah, really surprised.
Yeah, man.
I'm
happy because I mean now I'm driving my car. I left the boat already, but I'm happy because it's gonna help me improve my pronunciation. And sometimes you get to those words that you don't know how to say them. So I guess with the support of everybody, we're gonna go through that together. So we're not gonna feel bad about each other or about ourselves because we have the group behind us, right?
100%.
Right.
So,
Yeah, you already know it's a judgment-free zone.
yeah, exactly. So, and here's the thing: there was a couple words that I fumbled on. So I want to go back in the chapters and write that down and learn what it means.
Yeah.
And then how to pronunciate it. Because when it came up, it kind of like, wait, hold up, how do I pronunciate it? But I like that because I don't want to just skip over it. I have time to go back and reread it and understand what it was, because it's super interesting to hear different people read. And then when I'm reading in my mind versus when I'm reading in public, because so a part of this is also like Josh said, this is a safe space for us to be able to just learn how to speak in public, right? And that's why I want people to come in here and turn the camera on and just be visible, right? Like there's nothing to gain on this one. This isn't a business. We all of us have different business ventures and different careers, but in this space, we get to just be students again in a safe space, and there's no cost. Your time and energy is the only cost to it, right? So. All right. Well, I wish you guys the best.
Hey, Mark, is it your fault that we got to have all these kind of gas cap things? Is it you guys' fault in California there?
Gas cap things? What is that thing?
I don't know. There's they made all these new funky things you got to get gas out of a gas can. They keep changing it. You got to pretty much be a scientist to get gas out of there.
I've never used that. I think the only time I've ever used that was like to get gas for a buddy who basically he was it's one of those guys who want to ride it all the way to empty to see if he can make it to the other gas station.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We came back from the casino and we were literally a mile away.
I was younger.
Yeah, that's the last time I've seen one of those. Nowadays, it's like I have a AAA card. I'm just gonna call it AAA.
Trying to get this thing pressure washed.
Oh shoot! Is that the duplex or the quadplex?
Triplex.
This is a triplex. Okay. Oh, so Armando, yeah, part of the powerhouse in this group, and Josh is with us, is we're real estate investors.
Nice.
So let's see, Zachary, Josh, Daniel, Rob. Daniel's actually a real estate agent out of Miami, and also, and correct me if I'm wrong, Daniel. Actually, you do real estate also in Mexico. I remember you said Tulum is one of them, right?
Yeah. So I have a property in Tulum, and I have connections over there as far as finding the land, finding the property, getting to the notary, the lawyer, the closing. I have connections over there, so yeah, easy. I can do something over there.
Awesome. Yeah, Armando is, I believe you're still in finance and capital raising. Could you kind of give us insight a little bit about your background and where you are with your businesses?
Yeah. So I'm in the Forex market. So I trade like in manual trading, like me in the graph, just to click sell and buy. And then recently I'm into high frequency trading, which is like all automated, which are a lot of algorithms. And I'm like right now raising capital and managing other people's money. And I'm giving to the client 5% per month, which is a pretty good percentage, because in real estate it's like if you get a deal where you can make around 10%, I believe it's like 10% per year. It's like a really good percentage, right? So I'm like right now in the forex market. I discovered this way to make a 5% per month, and I'm doing this for. I have already like 4 years, like 3.5 years making this, and it's working pretty well. And yeah, that's basically it. So the forex market, and I do a little bit of crypto as well, crypto mining and crypto trading. Not holding any crypto though, not holding any crypto. I'm just basically, because I'm a manual trading. Manual trading is I do transactions, like open a transaction and open it in the same day or in the same week for long, and that's basically it.
So you do a lot of bots or
yeah,
or you do manual trading? Bots.
Yeah, no, it's bots. It's algorithms in the market, which basically they're not like 100% automated, but it's almost already.
Hey, thank you everybody for.
I appreciate you all. I'm gonna jump off. You guys are more than welcome to continue to stay on. I appreciate you guys. Me and Josh are gonna put out another thing for next week, and for joining this book club. You guys have all the links to all the books. So enjoy The Go Giver, chapter 1 and 2 for this week. Reread that, and then see you on chapter 3 next week for The Go Giver. Bye, guys.
Yeah, man. All right, man. Thank you.